ChatGPT just dropped Atlas, a new AI browser that actually does the work for you. It can click, it could type, and it could build docs while you watch. And when you pair it with Alfana, one video turns into downloadable slides, an ebook, and so much more. And so by the end of this video, you'll see 7 simple use cases that you could steal today. How many of you have heard about the new ChatGPT Atlas? It's a new AI browser, something that you can use to replace Chrome or any other browser that you're using today. There's a couple of different AI browsers. You've got ChatGPT Atlas, you've got Perplexity's Comet, you've got so many. You got the one from Arc. I really love the Arc browser, and they came out with one called Dia. So there's so many. I'm still testing them all and picking up my favorite. But ChatGPT Atlas it's pretty slick. It's pretty unique. On my screen, you've got ChatGPT Atlas, okay? It almost feels like ChatGPT in a way, right? Except the entire browser, everything you see up here, this is actually their new AI browser called Atlas. And what's cool about it is that it has access to your ChatGPT conversations and its memory. So with ChatGPT, if I ask it a question, it has context about me. It has context about Alfana and everything. So it just makes it more unique because as you are prompting and having it help you do things, it knows who you are as well as it has relevance to your browsing context. In this browser, not only do you have access to those conversations, but the browser ChatGPT now has access to all my open tabs. So it has information about my open tabs. It has information about my browsing history, which by the way, this is all optional, right? You could turn that off. If you don't want the Atlas browser to have access to your ChatGPT conversations, or you don't want ChatGPT to remember your browsing history, that's easily a setting that you can toggle on and off. But that makes it very unique because you can go back and be like, hey, you remember those 3 videos that I was watching yesterday? Can you pull those up and tell me what the top 3 takeaways were? Like, these are the basics and things that you could do when a browser has access to your browsing history, as well as your ChatGPT to have access to these conversations. What are a couple things that I want to do? Well, first, what we're going to do is I'm actually going to go into Alfana. Let me see if I can pull this up here. So here's the first one I'm going to do. I have a prompt that I was thinking about. I have a couple open tabs, right? I've got Alfana, I've got 3 videos, right? If I click through here. So I've got this video. So this is all about ChatGPT Atlas, which we can use for today. This was a past Insider Live session that I did. This was when we turned videos into ebooks and lead magnets. And then I've got the video about Sora 2 launch with the content that was generated, as well as the OpenAI Dev Day. So great. I've got a wealth of videos in here. So I've got all that open, right? So I want to come in here and I'm just going to say, please review all the open tabs in alfana.ai. And I want you to analyze all of the videos and the transcripts. And then I want you to come up with 5 to 10 content ideas based on these videos that I can go and record. So I just did this prompt. Here we go. Now it's here. I recorded my voice. Perfect. And what I'm going to do, this is very important. In ChatGPT, you're going to click the plus sign. And then in here, you're going to click on agent mode. Okay. This is very important. Now, the agent mode, this part that I'm showing you right here is only for those who are on the Plus or the Pro plan, okay? Now, I have the Pro plan, but I encourage everyone at least be on Plus. It's I don't know, maybe $20 a month subscription, because that'll enable something called agent mode inside of the ChatGPT browser. Now, the browser itself is free, but this gives you more power. So just like what I did here, I'm going to go ahead and well, before I do that, not only do I have agent mode, but there's a setting here that says logged in versus logged out. Now, do you want ChatGPT in the browser to work with you while you're logged into your accounts, or do you want it to have access to everything being logged out? Okay, this is very important. If you want it to do things for you inside of the different apps and websites and products that you use, you're going to want to be logged in, right? But if you need privacy, you can go ahead and hit logged out. For this to work, what I'm going to show you, you need to be logged in. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'll click send. Now, here's the beauty of what it's doing, right? Now it's starting to review all of the open Alfana tabs and it's thinking through the answer. And then this nice and beautiful interactive interface opens up. And this shows you now what it's going to start doing is number one, it's understanding the instructions, and then it's going to load the different tabs and review the different tabs to start coming up with these content ideas. Okay. Now you could do this to come up with content ideas. You could do it to come up with just summaries and takeaways. Or what we're going to do later, we could use this to come up and pull things out, put it together on a Google Doc, put it together in a spreadsheet, create a PDF ebook, right? There's so many use cases of what this can do from a productivity level. Today, I'm focusing a lot more of what you can do it from a content perspective, right? Just because of the nature of what we do, we want to try to tie AI into these content workflows. So look, this is one of the tabs that I have open. It's opening, it's clicking on the transcript. Remember, Alfana digests and creates beautifully written transcripts automatically based on your videos. And so it's leveraging that content to analyze and understand everything that's happening before it comes up with these content ideas. So we'll just give this another minute or so. I'm going to let that run. Who knows how long it'll take? Sometimes it could take a minute or two, just depends. But there's another piece that I want to show you. If you were in one of my past Insider Live sessions, okay, what we covered was taking a video and generating lead magnet ideas for it, right? And so in this project, we created a couple things. We created some quiz cover page designs because we could generate quizzes in Alfana. And this was a quiz that we generated to go along and pair with the ebook. And over here, we have the lead magnet ideas. So this card over here has 5 lead magnet ideas, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it gives you bullet points for what those ideas are. But these are all ideas that are coming from the video. So if you recorded the podcast, a webinar, a Zoom meeting, or anything like that, you can drop that into Alfana or any YouTube video to come up with these ideas. But we also generated an outline, right, for what this is about, right? Even with titles like, what is Sora 2? AI copyright in you, right? It comes up with it. Or what you see here is a full ebook draft. So if you look at this, right, it actually created chapter by chapter what's inside of this ebook. So what do I want to do? Well, it's great that Alfana created the ebook, but now what do you have to do? You got to copy this, you got to format it, you got to put it into a doc and then maybe stylize the doc, or maybe you want to create a presentation, but we want to get this into a PDF format so that you can give away to other people. And so that's exactly what we're going to do. So what I was thinking of was, what if we turn this into a presentation? And so what we're going to do, I'm going to come in here in the top right and I'm going to say, ask ChatGPT. Okay. When I do this, because again, I'm in the Atlas browser, this is all by ChatGPT. I'm going to click now on agent mode, right? Just remember, it has to be in agent mode. And then down here, I'm going to be logged in. Let's see what I'm going to say. I need to create a downloadable lead magnet ebook that I can give away to prospects when they fill out a lead capture form on my website. On this page, there's an entire lead magnet draft. I want you to take that lead magnet draft and put it together into a Google Slides presentation. Make sure to include all of the chapters that are included and all of the copy just the way it is. Format the presentation in a beautiful way. Ideally, let's use a black background with white and color fonts that match with Alfana's brand, and set it up as a Google slide for me. All right, so I just did a high level. I didn't go into detail of how I want the presentation. We could probably create a prompt in Alfana that automates that as well. But for now, I just wanted to show you what I did. And so, by the way, I'm using a voice dictation. That's what I love doing when writing prompts. You can see that I made this very descriptive. Trying to think if there's anything else that I need to do. I guess that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and hit send. And let's watch the magic. You can see here now, it's analyzing the page, understanding what each of the cards are, and it should go and find the lead magnet draft in order to extract that content to generate Google Slides. So while that's working, let's see what happened over here on the original prompt that I did. So if you remember, we came here on this project and we wanted to come through, let me see, to review all the tabs. So I'm going to now open this up. I said, please review all the tabs in Alfana and analyze and come up with some content ideas. And check this out. It dug through the Alfana dashboard to review the projects I had open. I used your browsing history to find the specific pages, then opened each one in the Alfana app. I examined the videos and transcripts for the following projects, and then it lists out the different projects. After looking at the transcripts and summaries on each page, here are some of the content ideas you could record next. And look at this, right? And it breaks it down. All right, so here's a couple ideas I came up with. How to supercharge your browser with AI. So make a walkthrough of ChatGPT Atlas showing how it reopens yesterday's tabs, drafts email scripts in your voice, and researches products with sources. I mean, we are talking about ChatGPT Atlas today, so what a great idea, right? All right, next one. Turn a single video into a lead magnet. Awesome. The next idea. The Alex Hormozy Playbook for Small Businesses. Share the best takeaways from his interview, like the book launch, the Guinness World Record attempt, and the simple business building advice, right? So this came up with that idea, and it came up with more ideas, all based on my open tabs. Now, these are all my Alfana open tabs, right? But I could have visited like 10 different websites because I'm doing some research. They're all open, and now I'm trying to come up with content ideas or get summaries or do research. Because ChatGPT now has access to all of my open tabs, right? It can go through each tab for you to synthesize that information and digest it in order to create content for you, or to come up with ideas, or to put together the research examples you need. I just went back to the other task to create slides, right? So this was our second example, right? In order to be able to create a ebook presentation and slides. And you can see this open, like I've got Google Slides open. It's going back and forth between the tabs. I mean, I don't know how many of you do this, but we're always juggling between tabs. Why not just prompt and have the AI agents do it for you, right? You can literally put the prompt, tell it to go do it for you, then open a new tab and go do something else and run another agent to do that for you, right? AI agents don't have to be complex. Literally what I'm showing you on the screen right now is an AI agent that you don't have to program yourself. Okay. A lot of people always ask me, how do I get into AI? How do I use agents? How do I create agents? And I think everybody thinks that you have to go through the technical way of doing agents, like using N8N or one of these other tools. They're great. Okay. But there's a lot of companies that work at the application layer, making the user experience much easier. Alfana is essentially an agent of multiple content agents, but it doesn't look like an agent, right? The ChatGPT Atlas browser is an AI agent. So there's different ways of looking at it. And so in this case, now it's going in to create this entire presentation for me inside of Google Slides. All right, let me take a pause while this is running. Let me see if anybody got any questions. You've been using the lead magnet cards. Beautiful. I'm super happy to hear that. Yes, I'm using WhisperFlow. That's what I used for my voice dictation. I love it. I even added it to my phone. I'm testing it out there too, but I use that to do everything pretty much. I want to show you how some of this starts creating it. You could see what it did, right? It looked at my instructions. I told it I wanted it a dark background, black background. So what it did is it picked a theme that was already a dark background. And now look at this, right? It opened up the background to change the color of the presentation. And look at that. And it's going after it to make sure that it's black. By the way, you could be very detailed in your instructions. If you just say create a presentation, it's going to create whatever using any template that it wants. But in this case, because I wanted it black, it's trying to go for a darker color or a black background. It's funny because you could see it keeps trying to go for the black and clicks the red. It'll get there. Let's see questions. Does the presentation output need to be a Google Slides doc, or any format will work like PowerPoint or Keynote? That is a great question. I have not tested it myself on Keynote or another one, but most likely as long as you're logged in the browser and the app that you're trying to use is in the browser. Again, I'm not saying all of them, but most of them it should be able to navigate and work through. So if you open up PowerPoint in the browser, not on your computer, and you wanted to create it there, you could just say, hey, instead I want it to be a PowerPoint presentation. Now, what's cool about it is that it can reason through things. So for example, if it can't do the PowerPoint presentation, or maybe it's trying to use another app, it might come up with an alternative. And one example alternative might be, okay, create the presentation on Google Slides. And then at the end, it'll say, okay, now go to File, click Export as PowerPoint. And then I can actually take this Google slide and export it to PowerPoint. And then I can open it in PowerPoint to make the edits myself. So that is always an option in those cases. Because I noticed that happens with PDF. I ask it to create a PDF. And instead what it does, which actually I prefer, is it opened up a Google Doc. And it put everything inside of the Google Doc for me. And then it gave me instructions on how to turn that Google Doc into a PDF by going to File, Export, and, export it as a PDF. So, if it can't do it, it'll give you a workaround or an alternative on how to do it. And so look at this. Now it's working on the title slide for my ebook. I'm going to let that run and we'll come back to it. We'll see what the progress is, because I want to show you now a third use case. And since we're talking about docs, let's open up here. Another use case with Alfana is that people like to take a video and generate blog posts with that video. But I've heard from a lot of people that they want to be able to edit the blog post before they put it on their website. So there's a couple ideas of what we could do. What if we, you have the content already generated in Alfana, so why don't we have it take that blog post and format it into a Google Doc for you? And then in the Google Doc, you can use that to make your edits before you export or publish that inside of your CMS or website platform. I don't have it set up here, but you could easily say, hey, I want you to take this blog post and I want you to set it up as a draft inside of my WordPress blog. or my Framer website, or my Webflow website. Let's say you come in Alfana and you use our blog post generator and you generate like 10 or 15 different blog posts. It might be manual and tedious for you to go set up each individual blog post. So why don't you say, hey, take these 10 blog posts and I want you to set them up as drafts inside of my website blog, right? And it'll go and do that for you so that now you can go in there and publish it. And if you trust and you want the output because you've already tweaked all of your prompts inside of Alfana and you're good with it, you could say, go ahead and publish it for me too. So now you don't have to worry about doing the publishing. Let's give this a shot. I'm going to go here. Now, in Alfana, I had brought in this video already. Okay, I had just done this before our call. This is all about ChatGPT Atlas, and you'll see that it generated shorts, YouTube thumbnails, quote images, chapters, title ideas, screenshots. Look, we drafted an email newsletter, LinkedIn post, threads, and a blog post. So here's my recap blog post. And this is what I wanted to do. So I'm going to go ahead here on the right. I'm going to say agent mode. And again, I'm logged in and let's give it some direction. For this project and this video, I want you to take the blog post video recap that was drafted, and I want you to create a new Google Doc with this blog post. Please port over the entire blog post and keep all the formatting intact for my Google Doc. In addition, please add the metadata needed for me to add for the description inside of the blog post. I did that, right? You can add other instructions or anything else like that. If we wanted to do it for a website like a web CMS, you could do the same thing, do Webflow or anything like that. So I'm going to come in here, hit generate, and now it's going to take over this browser window. So if you notice, look up here. I've got two agents running. I got one agent here taking this blog post from from Alfana, and I've got this one that's turning this into a presentation, the full ebook that we created. So we've got these running. Some people might say, hey, why don't I just go into ChatGPT and just type a prompt and say, hey, write a blog post for me and put it into a Google Doc or anything like that. Remember, one of the benefits with Alfana is that we are creating a workflow, okay? Instead of spending hours per prompt every single time that you drop a video in order to get your output, I have a whole workflow. This is my YouTube content workflow, right? I've got like 13 or 15 different prompts that we've perfected in this exact structure that I create each time. And it's already going to get done for me. And I'm executing 10, 15, 20, 30 things at once. So since that's already done, why would I want to go and redraft a brand new blog post, right? I'm going to have to go do all this work all over again. So this is a workflow productivity hack, okay? You come in here, you set up your workflow. What is a repetitive process you do every week? Is it that you have to draft 3 blog posts? Is it that you got to come up with titles, descriptions, and metadata and all this information? Do you have to find the right clips? You put all of that together into a single workflow inside of Alfana, execute it, and now we're using the browsing agent to help and take this content and put it where you want. Now, remember, I wouldn't sit here watching this, right? I would just, hey, take this blog post, put it in my Google Doc, click enter, move on to my next task. And I can go and do 30 other tasks, and then I'll just come back when everything is done, right? So that's what's happening here. Presentation is still working. This is interesting. So I guess there's something it couldn't figure it out. And guess what it's doing? It's writing code and importing scripts in order to be able to finish its task. So this one's running there. We'll let these guys go and see what's going on. All right, let's take a look at questions quickly. Really interesting in learning about creating image prompts for my narration video uploads. Tried to figure it out, but didn't work out. If I have some time at the end, I'll try to go through some stuff with images, but I also got a couple videos on our YouTube channel that covers prompting, how to generate images and stuff like that too. Creating image prompts for my narration video uploads. But maybe you can clarify what specifically you want to learn. That way, if towards the end of our live session, I can cover that. Is it how to create the videos? Are your prompts not getting the outputs that you want? Just any details like that would be helpful, and I'll try to get to it. Have we tested Atlas kick off the Alfana workflow? I'm sensing the limitation is choosing the source video for kicking off the workflow. I did not try that yet. We could probably give it a shot after, but in that particular workflow, I would just ask Atlas to, hey, go on YouTube, get the latest video from my channel, grab the YouTube link, and then I want you to create a new project in Alfana in order to do that. I think you would have to give it some extra steps, but we could see if it'll figure it out and execute that workflow. And so let's say you have a YouTube channel with 20 videos. If this first one works, you can say, hey, go grab the last 10 videos from my YouTube channel, grab the YouTube links, and generate a new project for each video using the whatever name template that you want, right? If you already set up a template in Alfana. And so that'd be actually a great use case. I should have tested that before. but maybe we'll try that shortly. So perfect. Look at this. It's formatting, right? It took the post from Alfana. It's still in here. Now it's going to start formatting everything to look good. Great. The presentation, this is still in progress. What's the next one I want to do? So I've got this project that we created, and this one came up with a series of X or Twitter posts, and it came up with some reels and shorts. It drafted a caption, created some carousel images, a thread, and a LinkedIn series. So let's just come up with something here. What we're going to do in this third example is actually take the content from here and put it together in a spreadsheet for me. Okay, so one workflow I can imagine is, hey, go take the last 10 projects that I created in Alfana and grab all the content and put it together in an organized spreadsheet for me to review. That could be one use case, right? Maybe you want to see it on there. There's a ton of other things that you could do as well, but this is just the kind of the top one that comes to mind. So I had previously tested this, but I want to do this live with you. Please review all the content on this project page inside of Alfana, and then I want you to create a brand new Google Sheet that puts together all of the reels with the titles and descriptions into a spreadsheet. Then I want to create a second tab with each Twitter post per line. So there's 30 posts on this page. I want you to take one and put it on each line. And then I want you to take the 3 LinkedIn series updates and put that into a third tab. All right, so I'm just thinking out loud. I just want this to organize it. Let's see what it comes up with and put it together in a Google Sheet for me. We're going to let that run. It's going to analyze it. You should see it open up a Google Sheet momentarily. Wow. I mean, just in that moment, look how many slides this has created already, right? Look at this. And it's still going. So if you remember, I'm going back to this lead magnet. It took all the content. It's filling out slide by slide, pulling in all the copy from the lead magnet. And this is going to be a downloadable asset that you can use for a lead capture form. How's the progress with everything else? This is the spreadsheet. That one's still working. This one put together, earlier I did this, it did it better, but it didn't do all the formatting. But we could just ask it to update it. Please update all the headers and subheaders to use proper heading formatting and break out the paragraph spacing and line spacing for the paragraphs so that it's formatted for a website CMS. So I think I know why it did this, but if you have to memorize it and then rewrite it to get it into the proper formatting, go ahead and do that too. That's my prompt. Let's see what it does. Let that run. As these are running, I got my presentation running. I've got the Google Doc running. I've got this one. Look at that. It's already created a spreadsheet and now it's starting to enter the information. Let's move on to the next use case. Okay. This use case is actually updating YouTube. In YouTube, if you notice, I've got this video. This was from one of our past Insider Live sessions. Okay. So I just have this one in draft and you can see that I have the title, description, but really this doesn't have everything I need to fill this out. What do I have? What we do with Alfana with our videos, right? Just like this video you see here, I've got this video. We have a template called AI Show Notes, and the show notes will generate keywords. It'll put together a full summary. It'll draft a bullet point key takeaways. It'll come up with title ideas. It'll come up with thumbnail hooks, right? The text that you're going to put on those thumbnail images. It'll generate sound bites or extract the sound bites from the video that you want to feature, chapters, and put together a series of short form clips that you can use. But this is like everything you need for like YouTube or if you're doing a podcast because you want to put everything together. And so for my video, I want it to fill out the YouTube Data Studio piece. So I already have the prompt written, the link. So let's grab this link here and I'm going to paste that here. So actually I don't need this because it's already open. So let's just go here and make it in agent mode. And I'm going to explain, please take this video and I want you to update the video metadata inside of YouTube Data Studio with one of the titles from the selection. Go ahead and pick the best one and then use the keyword summary, the sound bites, the key takeaways, and the chapters in order to fill out everything for the YouTube video. Keep it inside of draft mode for now, but make sure you use all the elements from this project inside of Alfana. For the description, you can combine the summary, the key takeaways, the sound bites, the chapters into one. Those are my instructions. I wanted to take all this content and put it together inside of YouTube Data Studio. And then you'll see down here, I say, please update this video. I gave it the URL so that it knows. I could also reference the tab because I have it open already. but now it's going to analyze this and it's going to fill in all the data that I need for YouTube. Now, this is great if you're porting over information. So let's just say you've got a bundle of 5 videos or 10 videos and you haven't uploaded them to YouTube yet, but maybe you've pre-recorded them. It could also be for YouTube Shorts, right? Maybe you got 10 different YouTube Shorts and you want them to be spaced out 10 days apart. You could have it reference all the videos, let's say inside of Alfana, go video by video, generate the projects, which we're going to try later, and grab all the content, the metadata, the descriptions, the key takeaways, and fill everything out inside of Data Studio and then schedule them for a release date, right? So you could say, hey, schedule them for 3 days apart, 1 day apart, and let it run. And that could be one task that you let it run in the browser for you while you go work on something else. Questions. Use Alfana and Atlas to create a course outline, scripts, and a deck. Exactly. That you can 100% do something like that to piece it together. It's just really powerful what you can do when you combine these tools together. Anybody else got questions or ideas? Is this sparking any ideas for you? This agent, look at that. It's working on formatting for me. Beautiful. Go. All right. We've got a presentation, y'all. Look at this. Now, I didn't ask it for images, but we could ask it to, but I'm going to go into presenter view. So what did it come up with? The Creator's Guide to Sora 2, how to stay legal, stand out, and scale your content. And here we go. So chapter 1, what Sora 2 means for you or for creators. Chapter 2, the copyright line, what you can and can't do. Chapter 3, safe prompting, how to stay clear of IP trouble. Content ideas you can ship today. Platform shifts. Again, this could be better, of course. You can come in here and format it. You could update the fonts, but just the fact that it put it together and gave you a draft that you didn't have to go format manually one by one, that alone takes time, right? Like taking the text and piecing it together. Now I've got a draft that I can use. And honestly, a lot of cases, you might be able to just use this to create some lead magnets and give them away and then improve them later, right? The main important thing is like get started and get feedback. But alone, you could do something like this. So look at that, full PDF. And if I exit that, I can come over here and, it's a presentation that's editable. And I can come to File, Download, and look at that. You can download this into PowerPoint format, which by the way, you can also use formats like that to import into Keynote if you use Keynote. Or I can come in here and do a PDF document. And there I go. Now I've got a PDF that I can use as a potential giveaway. Now, of course, I'd recommend go ahead, add some images. That would make this even better. So we got our spreadsheet working. It's copying and pasting all the content for me because I wanted to review my doc. It's still formatting. Look at this, the video details. I'm sorry that we missed the generation of it, but look at this. You guys remember this video, we barely had any text, but it just finished the job. It went into Alfana and took everything it generated, the description. Look at this. It extracted the sound bites. It put together the chapters automatically in here for me. Look at this. It's pre-selects everything. The audience, right? Okay, no, it's not made for children. Don't restrict viewers. Let's see. Look at this. It copied and pasted all of the tags that were generated inside of Alfana. So it pretty much took everything that it could to set up this video for me. Again, imagine you did this 10 times. You have 10 videos. Just prompt it, let it go do the work for you for all 10 videos. And here you are. And it's saved and now it's ready. It's private. It's not published. And now I could use this to publish. Now, just think of the potential for this, okay? I'm just showing you one simple example inside of YouTube, but think of other platforms that you need to fill out, right? I could say the same thing and say, hey, I want you to prepare a Twitter thread for me, right? And set it up for me on X. I want you to go fill out this form on another website, right? Like maybe inside of Alfana, you extracted all the tools that somebody said inside of a podcast episode and be like, hey, I want you to research all the tools that it said, and then I want you to go put it into a Google Sheet for me. I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud, but just think of any of the little tedious, repetitive tasks that you could do. Anything that could happen on the web, you could prompt this agent to be able to do it for you. Questions, let's see. Having Atlas add the talk track in the deck would be a big boost in efficiency. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Like the speaker notes, I'm assuming you're saying. Yep. You could do it right here. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're just going to do it. All right, please add an image for each slide, whether you generate it or use stock images. Let's just feature some visuals in them. And then also please create speaker notes for each slide for my exact script that I should say when I'm presenting each of these slides. So why not? Let's see if it works. I'm just going to let that run. Perfect. So we've got YouTube generated. We've got a Google Doc here, which added the headers. So look, this time, and look at that, right? It's got the text. Now, this could be even better, but this is an example of it working. Now, here's the other cool thing actually by using the ChatGPT browser. You don't need extensions now or anything. I could actually highlight anything in here, okay? And where is it? Why isn't it appearing? It's because I'm on the dock, but let's see. Oh, that's interesting. So it usually pops up, but you should be able to select any text and a little ChatGPT window pops up. Maybe it's being blocked in Google Chrome. I'll check that out for you guys later. But anyways, we got the dock, you got YouTube, we've got a presentation working. It's setting up everything for us. This sheet is still working. Was there something else? These are the ideas. I think the other one that we want to do, grab the last video from at Alfana AI on YouTube and create a new project in Alfana using the YouTube content workflow template. So I haven't tried this. We're going to try this live, but anything could be solved with better prompting. I'm just doing a very simple prompt. Now remember, I'm going to go here to agent mode and logged in, and let's see what this does. Okay. So I essentially want it to take a video from YouTube, put it into Alfana, generate a project using a workflow that I want. It's like, does this give anyone else old school vibes of the exec dictating to an executive assistant? Yes, it does. It does to me now that I think about it, but being able to just talk to it, right? That's why I like doing it out loud, because it gets me to kind of think of my thoughts out loud. And I'm giving it instructions to go and do some work for me. But look at this, right? You know what's really cool with this is I could actually see anytime that I want the work that's getting done. And I think that's what's really cool is you could see the work getting done. All right, but let's look at questions. Another idea, how about this? Analyze an existing template and suggest changes to your Alfana custom instructions. Ooh, I like that. That's a great idea. Yeah, I mean, it has access to your window, your browser, to all the content. So I think that's a great idea. So I'm going to let that run for just a minute. Let's see what that does. I just want to see, I think we had one running just a minute ago. Well, first off, let's look at the sheet. If you guys remember, this is the spreadsheet that I asked it to come up with to take the content from the project and put it together a sheet. So in this case, it took the reels, the titles, and the descriptions. Now, one thing that won't work is the agent won't be able to grab the videos from Alfana. And it's because of the way the videos are, because you need to generate the videos before you can download them. So it won't have access to get a download link for you. That's the only con that I've found so far. I tested it myself, but at least I can get the titles and the descriptions, but you still need to process those videos. But this is one way. All right, so now I've got titles and descriptions for each video that's on there. All right, here we go for X or Twitter. It put together each post into individual line items. It might be missing some. Yeah, so this could be done with prompts. I think I need to describe to the prompt exactly what I want from it. I think it just came up with 30 short ideas based on the cards. And then the other AI card was, we had 3 LinkedIn post ideas, and here they are. So if I come here, here's one of the LinkedIn posts, the second one, and the third one. And these were short on purpose, by the way. So we have other AI cards that could generate longer and more structured LinkedIn posts. But the point that I'm trying to show you here is data entry, right? Another idea, and this is maybe good for you if you're prospecting, is if you're searching on LinkedIn, you could have it go onto LinkedIn for you and search for people that are posting that are active inside of your industry, and then grab all their profile information, their name, their bio, the company they work at, a URL to their LinkedIn, and you could have it fill out tabs doing something like that as well, right? Just think about the different use cases. It's not just about content. You could do that for even prospecting. All right, let's see. This is interesting, and I want to see this for a minute, but it opened up Alfana and it searched for the YouTube content workflow, which is there. But I guess it's now learning, right? It's never been in here. So it's trying to understand how to create content. So this is interesting to see. This is probably a good way to test the UI and UX for your app. So if you ever needed a QA, you just have an AI agent browser, try to use your application and see if it can do it. And if it can't do it, then maybe people can't do it either. But look, it figured it out. It selected the YouTube content workflow. Now it opened up. It's going to select the source content. You saw that it clicked on YouTube. So the only thing left to do is to grab the YouTube URL, paste it in there. Look at that. Look at that, right? It pulled in the URL. What it needs to do now is hit import. But what's cool is it shows you here on the right how it's reasoning. It's analyzing the page. It could see what's happening. And look at that. Now it's importing. And you see even here, look, the importing button now shows that it's in progress. It's still importing. I'll need to wait a little longer for it to finish. I mean, just look at the thought process behind this, right? Oh, and I think my video is probably blocking your view, but there you can see the prompts now more. This is working, right? It's waiting for the import. Just remember, just a reminder of what it did so far, right? I told it to go get the last video on my YouTube channel. I don't know why it's trying to X. Please don't X out. I said, go to my last video on my YouTube channel, grab the URL, create a new project inside of Alfana, import the YouTube video, select the YouTube content workflow template. There we go. And go to generate the project. And now that's what it's waiting for. So it's going through the steps. This is good. I'm going to let that run. I want to come back here and kind of show, I want to see what this was doing. I don't know if this actually worked, but you could tell, look at this, right? The browser actually went through the stock image library with on Google, but it doesn't look like it worked on adding images. Whoops, what did I do? So it added one here, one down there in the bottom. So this is one thing that I noticed. I tried doing something like this earlier. It doesn't do well with inserting images, unfortunately. And from what I could tell, the speaker notes were only added in the first one. So, oh, it added visuals only for the first 2 slides. Yes, we need it for all slides. All right, let that run. All right, so it entered the latest YouTube video, but it's asking if we want to continue waiting for it to import. So sometimes it needs guidance. Now, what we could do is structure a prompt inside of Alfana. If you guys reach out to me or if you guys want this, you let me know and I'll put one together for you to give it very specific instructions of how to do all of this in Alfana. Because if you give it the instructions, it won't pause like this. Now with this step, you have to click on next. After you click next, it's going to ask you for the language and for some personalization options. Go ahead and fill out all the personalization options based on what you think is best. And each text box is also editable in case you need to write something custom. Click next, and then it'll ask you to edit the transcript. You could say no, because we don't need to edit the transcript right now. And the video is in English, so make sure it's selected to English, and then go ahead and generate the project. I don't know if you saw what I just did. I know Alfana, so I knew what the next steps are, but I gave it the instructions to do it, right? Now, what I would do is combine this with my original prompt and create a robust prompt that allows this to create it for me. Because again, what I would want to do with this is like, hey, go get 10 videos or 20 videos and run. And, you know, let me know in 5 minutes once this is ready, right? Or 10 minutes, however long it takes. So let's see if this works, right? We wanted to click the next button. Look at that. Now it took you to the personalization screen, right? So it imported the video, it hit next, it's on the personalization screen. Now it's got to come up with the options. So look at that. It's selected target audience of marketers. Let's see what this does. Wow, look at that. It made it even better, right? Instead of just saying marketers, it says right for marketers and creators interested in repurposing YouTube videos into engaging clips. And once it moves its mouse cursor, I could read the rest. But essentially what it's doing now is adding custom instructions to tell the AI of how it wants the content to be written, right? And there it says turn the videos into engaging clips, thumbnails, blog posts, and social posts. So it's putting the right audience, which is good. Let it finish up the settings. Keep the content in English. It went so fast I didn't read the custom instructions, but that's pretty cool. And you see it followed my instructions. I said we don't need to edit the transcript. So if you see here, it clicked on no. It's in English. And now it hit generate. I just want to remind everyone here, I am not doing all the clicking, okay? The browser agent, ChatGPT Atlas, is doing this for me, okay? It imported the video from YouTube. It ran it inside of Alfana. And now it's generating all of the content inside of Alfana. This is super powerful. Remember, because it's not just for the one. I could do this 10 times and I didn't have to be here, right? I'm here because I'm showing you. But now this is all generating. And look, it stopped taking over the browser because its job is done. Now it just has to wait for it to generate, right? And now you'll see our AI is transcribing it. We're going to understand the video, and then we're going to generate all this content from YouTube Shorts, quote images, title ideas, newsletter, LinkedIn posts, etc. That was a great idea. Thanks for pointing that out. We got this to work, so I'm super excited about that. I'm sure others, you guys would like this prompt. So I'll take this prompt, I'll test it maybe 2 or 3 more times, make sure it's going to be consistent. And what I'll do is I could drop it into the community. That way you guys can have access to it. I'll add it into the community, and you can use that prompt anytime you need to generate something with Alfana, and that gives it specific instructions of how to do certain things. So that'll be my way in order to be able to do that. So there you have it. We generated the video, came up with ideas, filled out everything on YouTube. We added all the content from Alfana into a spreadsheet. And over here, you could see that it's actually, look at that. It finished the presentation, but now it's adding some images and it's adding speaker notes for us so that I don't have to memorize what I have to say about each slide. We already talked about this, and it prepared a Google Doc with a blog post that we needed. So there you have it. These were multiple use cases that we had to use an AI agent called Atlas, or the AI browser from ChatGPT. It works really well. There's other AI browsers out there as well. I encourage everyone to just test them all and see the ones that work best. But again, what I love about ChatGPT is that it has memory. It knows about me. It knows about Alfana. And plus, I have it set up so it can remember my browsing history. So it kind of all interchanges everything together. You know, I can be like, hey, what were the, what did I spend a lot of time on the internet last week? And it can go analyze it and give you feedback or come up with new ideas, or hey, reopen the session when I was researching about, I don't know, spiders. I'm just making up an example. So super powerful. I recommend everyone to use it. I want you to 10x what you can do with AI and especially with your content workflow, coming up with ideas. And please give this a shot. If you come up with other ideas and other ways to use it, I want to know about it. Drop it into the community, shoot me a message, and I want to learn more about how you're using it. If there's some specific use cases that come out that are really cool, I'll try to tie that into our next session. So again, if you're here or if you watch this on YouTube, please, I want you to hit like, subscribe to our YouTube channel. I want you to drop a comment. All these things help the algorithm. It loves it, and it'll help to be able to get our content out to more people. So I would really appreciate it, and I'm sure others will too, especially if you found this very valuable. So let's share the value with everyone else. Thank you all for being here. Again, I'm Sebastian Moore, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Alfana. If you need anything at all, please don't hesitate to reach out. I appreciate all of you for spending your time to join our live stream, watch the video on YouTube, and if you need anything, again, just hit me up. Appreciate it. Have a good one. Bye, everyone.